Andreas, thank you. I'm happy to do that. So as Enclaive, what we provide is vaults for the IT infrastructure, enabling that your data stays encrypted even while you use it. And we provide the elements that are needed to do that. Well, to be carefully, I'm very optimistic because what we see is that current regulation of the financial industry, like DORA, helps us address customers in the financial service industry. The public sector, as well as the healthcare sector, has defined the underlying technology as the future standard for cloud computing. So our technology will be adopted across a wide range of industries and across a wide range of infrastructures, creating the possibility to build a pan-European hybrid confidential platform where the customers can choose the infrastructure and gain security and sovereignty for themselves across any infrastructures, whether they're based from European providers, Asian providers, or North American providers. Well, the challenge that we face remain kind of unchanged. Why do they remain unchanged? It's very simple. Because we still have the challenge that European companies are very dispersed across the geography, and American companies come with a very strong platform proposition with proven customers. So we need, as a challenge and as a thing the European industry as well as the government need to do, they need to be brave and say, we give the European players a chance where they have a competitive product. And I believe that in many areas we do have competitive products. We don't have the 5,000, 50,000, 100,000 people companies though. From a geopolitical autonomic perspective, I believe that we should not think about decoupling and inventing the wheel on our own. I believe that we have technologies that allow us to leverage existing infrastructure, no matter who provides it, whether it comes from west, east or south, but that gives us the control of what we do. So it keeps our data in a secure environment which only we have access to under all circumstances, because that allows us to also achieve autonomy and sovereignty in the ability to deploy where we like to deploy. And today we take an American, tomorrow we take a Chinese, and always in between we take some nice European workload as well, because from a sheer size perspective, copying the American infrastructure is something that would not make any sense at all at any time soon. Good question. From my point of view, consolidation could be one answer. Another answer could be to build ecosystems. So for startups to start to collaborate across their technologies to basically create, staying specialized whilst offering a harmonic solution. Therefore, I believe that the integration layer could be one level higher with European system integrators or with European technology companies that have already a solid footprint, but don't go the route to say we're going to invent every wheel on our own, or we're going to be a nucleus, and we have demonstrated platform capabilities at which we then compete and excel beyond what the broadband suppliers deliver, who have a platform that can do everything, but not everything very good. If we have a pre-integrated environment with specialist notions, we could differentiate and we could really make a difference without going through the hustle over week A is going to buy B, and we have half a year lost on integration, then we lose 80% of the people and so on, whilst we focus on the strengths. I believe that's the play we should drive in Europe. And then over time, I believe we can have a group of leading lighthouse platform companies, and then it's a question whether they want to integrate this as a single business or keep that as a cooperative business model. They can help by stating that this is what they want to have. That they don't look for the one-size-fits-all single vendor solution, but that they find a way to build these platform ecosystems within the requests they put to the market, and that they also lobby to the, let's say, nucleus companies that are the bigger local national players or regional players, that they do not overcharge on margin. Because we, of course, if you look at the brand names in security in Europe, if you tell them you need to integrate 5 companies, there will be a large adder which is 80% fear. We haven't done this before. There's a risk. We might not know. Having this fear, that's where the institutions can come say, we cover you for that fear factor that you don't overcharge us, but we're willing to accept the risk that it's not perfect as of day one. So that's where I believe the institutions can step up and take risk out of the market. Well, having venture capital available in Europe, also in the mid-sized capital range, would be tremendous. Whether they use it to fund investments and consolidation, or just innovation and market speed, is a philosophical discussion depending on the VC. I would personally prefer the latter, that they invest in innovation and not in consolidation, where money is eaten by admin. The challenge that we see is the venture capital market sees the European market as highly fragmented. And for this, they basically devalue all European companies by default by a significant amount of money. Still, even after this deflation or devaluation of money of companies, there is a gap in the funding rounds, from my experience, between 2.5 and 8 million euros, where you find it very hard to get money, and where there's of course this expectation that in the US you could get 100 million, maybe we give you 5 here, and that deflation is too much. This step is too much, and that's where I believe the VCs need to accept that on the one hand there is a higher risk in Europe that it doesn't scale across the continent, and there's higher cost in building a continental sales. On the other hand, the acceptance that also a European startup can fail, just like a US startup, needs to be taken into account. And as you remember, we had this discussion about cost of failure. We need to work in Europe to reduce the cost of failure, because then we will have the money. Because I believe that there's sufficient money in the market, it just is very careful money. And therefore, it takes a huge effort to take the next step, whilst cost of sales and cost of evolution is still high.